How are you, Jackie? Oh, hang on a sec here. I muted you and I forgot to unmute you. Let's try that again. You're good.
Hi.
Hey,
Merry
Jackie, how are you?
Christmas, everyone. Good.
Okay, well, um, I put this call out a little while ago, and Jackie messaged me. She said that she'd like to share. So, my friend, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name's Jackiie L Okemaysiim. I'm a mother of four. I am in recovery, and I believe I'll be in recovery for the rest of my life because I struggled with addictions, trauma, all the ugly, nitty gritty stuff nobody likes talking about or bringing up. I was addicted to crystal meth, the odd pill here and there, gabapentin and Lyrica or T3s. I had a drinking problem. I had a codependency problem, and the codependency really drove me away from my kids, and that really sucked. Not being able to be alone or be away from, I needed somebody, and it wasn't my kids, so that sucked real bad. I hurt my kids more with that. Right now, I am a student. I'm taking my youth care worker certificate program through Sask Polytech. I moved to Saskatoon after my kids got taken away in 2018. I moved back in 2019. They got taken away from me in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Ended up homeless. So I was couch surfing. Even though I had a home, I didn't go home. That's how bad my addictions, how bad they were. I didn't want to go home. I didn't even want to be around my kids because I knew how bad it was. I knew I didn't want to be around them. I just followed anyone and everyone who could feed my addiction. And so I started my recovery about 3 years ago. I didn't realize I had a lot to work on. You think you can just get your kids back, but when you have so much childhood stuff you haven't dealt with or realized you have, it will creep up and you don't realize it affects your parenting today. I had to take a few programs, parenting programs. I had to go to meetings, NA and AA, which helped me lots because I knew I had to stay clean and sober for them. I went into the Comfy's Coming Home program. I didn't finish that. I didn't stay the 6 months. I left like a month early, I think. I wish I didn't, but in the end, I got better slowly. But from the programs I took with them, the
I got
parenting
better
groups,
slowly, but from the programs I took with them.
I hear it echo now.
Sorry, I got you. No, I saw the next speaker just tuned in and it just
Oh,
started a feedback loop. Sorry about that.
okay. Yeah, I went to the Comfy's Coming Home program, and then a relative of mine introduced me to EGADS, and I tried getting into the Fusion 22 program, but because I was still suffering some trauma bonding with an abusive partner I had, they did not want me there at the time, so I had to leave and work on myself some more. And when I realized trauma bonding is what I had with that person, it was just like another wound tore open in my heart because you realized it wasn't love. I think that's the worst thing to feel. because it was someone I was with for half of my life and I have 3 kids with. I'm a survivor of intimate partner violence, which is not a good thing. I'm a survivor of sexual assault, which is the nice way of saying rape. I was in an abusive relationship, which led to all those programs I needed to take. I had to take domestic violence groups. I had to learn about myself and my kids and parenting. I'm kind of glad I enrolled in the youth care worker program because a lot of that helped me understand why people do the things they do, even the bad things. And it's helped me forgive them with a more understanding. And I'm not mad at anybody. I used to be mad at myself for falling back into old habits and relapsing. But I think if you really want to understand yourself and if you're a parent, if you want to be there for your kids, don't fight the system. Do what they ask you. Do what you think you need. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be mad at anybody. Don't blame anybody because in the end, it's up to you to fix yourself. It's up to you to work on yourself because what somebody did to you 10 years ago, they're not going to care what you're doing today. They maybe they worked on themselves, so you got to be happy for them. So you got to work on yourself because if you have children and you have issues, your kids are going to see how you behave or react, and that's how they learn. I call my kids their little monkey see, monkey do, and I noticed that early on when I reacted in an angry way or I yelled at someone. That's how they started thinking they could act, how they should behave when things got tough or they got emotional. They witnessed violence. They witnessed me in my addiction. They witnessed my family in addiction. They've seen, you know, things they shouldn't have. I've seen things I should have had. I've went through things that really affected me, and I didn't like having to take medication or doing anything. I tried working on my health, and I'm still working on my health because I want to be healthy now. I thought loving yourself meant not giving yourself to someone so willingly or easily, being in a relationship. But I found that loving yourself meant keeping yourself healthy, doing healthy things, being with your kids or being with your family, doing healthy things, activities, creating new memories. You can be a parent and you can be there, but what good is if you're staring down at a screen and your kids are playing,
Mm-hmm.
something happens and you don't even notice, or they're trying to do something fun to show you and you're just staring at your phone. Like, I still struggle with staying off social media. It's a hard habit to break, but
Me too.
I do more stuff with my kids, and I think that's like the main thing I don't see a lot of parents doing when they're in their recovery. They're focusing so much on the hurt and the bad things that they forget to just go have fun with their kids. Who cares if it's a boring activity or something you're not used to? A lot of normal things I do with my kids now felt very awkward. And that was because I wasn't an active, present parent with my kids. I didn't get to build a bond with them until now, and I have my oldest is 11. You know, they were in Pampers till they're like 5 and 6. Like that's how crappy of a parent I used to be. I was so stuck on the person I was codependent on
Mm-hmm.
and my addictions, and I lacked so much parenting skills or how to maintain my own home, keep my home clean and tidy, keep my kids from wrecking the place because they're pretty wild. I got some wild kids. My kids are ADHD and ODD,
Mm-hmm.
and our meltdowns used to feed off each other, and it was the worst. I didn't realize I had to work on anger management. I didn't think I had an anger management problem, but when you're presented those little hints, it's pretty obvious when you don't. Where you need to work on, it's kind of like a slap in the face of reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's better just to say okay and work on it instead of trying to blame someone or pass it off onto somebody.
We've got some comments coming in here. Would you like to see them, or would you like to continue on?
I don't like to see them.
Okay. We have Lisa chiming in. Lisa says, "Thank you for sharing. My son just OD'd, and listening to you guys really helps. Really makes me feel there is hope." What else do we got here? We've got Catherine chiming in saying, "I completed the same program. I am so proud of you." And we have Laurel
Proud of you
chiming in.
too.
Yeah, Laurel chiming in saying, "Proud of you. Thank you for sharing. Hugs."
Thank you.
So, could you tell us what trauma bonding is?
It, I don't know the exact definition, but you're it's with something you have with an abusive partner or abusive family member. Could be anybody, I guess, and you break up, you get back together, you think it's love. Oh, been through too much. We're still fighting for each other. But I think a majority of the bad, especially for me, it was physical violence, mental violence, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I was a, you know, survivor of intimate partner violence, and I didn't even know I was sexually assaulted until I told a police officer what he did to me, and the police officer is the one who charged him with sexual assault. And it didn't even dawn on me the reality of that till a few years ago. So it was something I still had to deal with after a while. And trauma bonding has you thinking, I really want this person back. I think we can make it work. It'll work this time. And that's something I struggled with this past summer. And it led to me being on antidepressants now because I couldn't deal with the intrusive thoughts I was having of that person. But I knew I didn't want. I knew it wasn't right. I know it's not right to go back to your abuser, or especially with that severe of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I don't like thinking about because of the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope that person works on themselves because I know there's some things wrong with that person.
Mm-hmm.
When something's wrong with someone, you just have to pray for them. Pray for everybody who does bad things because I used to do bad things too. I
Mm-hmm.
used to be out there being a shitty person to vulnerable people. I was a vulnerable person myself. It's not fun when you realize how bad of a person you're being. And when I realized you can turn your life around the way I have, it gives you it gives you a sense of hope for everybody else out there that have been crappy people, have done bad things. because you really have to hope to God that someone that has done awful things finds some sort of healing so they don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so against violence and talking about people in a bad way because I know how it feels and I've seen people go through it. They just push people to not want to recover because they don't even know how to recover. I know a lot of people who just give in and give up, and I realized how long it took me to actually stand my ground with my recovery and stay clean and sober. Like, that's not something I want or want my kids around anymore because I could have gone to jail. I could have, done something stupid. I wanted to end my life in the past because of the aching in my chest. And apparently, that was an anxiety attack I never knew about. I used to have all the time. It's funny when you don't realize that the things you're feeling have a name from the doctors. You just think you're just really deeply emotionally involved in something, but really it's just like trauma you're not dealing with that you need to deal with. And sometimes going to the doctor and getting that help is the best idea because I went through that. I've lived in fear for 15 years of my life, being in an abusive relationship, wondering if, every time that person came home, I was going to get beat up. Sitting still for 3 hours, and then finally coming home and constant heart beating and sweating. It's like something I'll never want to go through again. And you just really got to get help and speak up. And people really need to be open to people and their addictions and their abusive relationships. And when they go back to those abusive partners, like you see people on social media be like, oh my God, you're back with him or you're back with her. Like just real insulting words. You're pushing that person to isolate with their abusive partner. And that's not something you want to do. That's not something you want to make that victim do. Because I did that for so many years of my life because I had people and family, laugh at me or say stuff to my face or through my inbox. And it was just, look how bad it pushed me. I drank every day after that person left me. And I just dug a bigger hole. I did worser things. And that's what happens when you don't deal with your stuff. You don't think it's serious, but the longer you hold on to it, the heavier it weighs down on you. And it's not a good feeling because in the end, it explodes. And you either, you know, people have mental breakdowns or all of a sudden they're stuck in addictions and you don't know why. We don't give people that open door to talk. And when we do, people talk about them or they don't believe them. It's a lot of, see a lot of my family that go through that, talk about each other's problems. They don't know how to talk to each other. I think we could all try learn to just be an open ear and forget about it in the next few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's all a person needs to have that supportive person on their side. It's not like they have to pick sides. I never had that going through all the stuff I went through. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I went through all those programs. They definitely helped me. I have a nice home. I have my kids, and my kids are happy. They tell me they love me every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I can hug my kids, play with my kids without feeling weird or awkward. Sometimes doing little kid things with my kids used to make me feel awkward because I never did it with my kids. I never
Mm-hmm.
played games or cuddled and watched movies. And
Mm-hmm.
now I just look forward to it every single time because I'd rather build and keep that bond with my kids than throw it away trying to fulfill my own needs or somebody else's.
Mm-hmm. We have a comment coming in here. And don't worry about the timer. If we go a little long, that's fine. Yvonne, thank you for the comments. Thank you for watching. Yvonne says, my beautiful Jackie, I'm so proud of you. I was talking with Uncle, and we never knew what Renee went through because she kept to herself. The trauma bond is what broke her in the end. Love you, my girl.
Yeah, I love you too, Auntie. It's nice seeing you today. Seeing everybody.
Got another comment from Andrea. Andrea's coming up to speak here shortly. Andrea says, you are an incredible, brave person. You are awesome, and I admire your strength. Keep going.
Thank you, Andrea.
So, is there anything that you'd like to leave us with tonight?
I think if you're struggling with addictions or stuff you don't want to talk about, find somebody you're comfortable talking with and find the courage in you to tell them to help guide you where you need to go for the proper help, because just talking about it sometimes doesn't help. There's very good professionals out there who will help you like they helped me with, domestic violence, addictions, my behaviors. Like I had some anger management problems. I needed parenting tips. And sometimes a lot of us need teaching to how to be adults. I just learned to be an adult at the age of 32, and I'm 33, so it's better late than never.
I'm still learning how to be an adult. I think that ship has sailed for me, to be quite honest.
It's never too late.
Yeah, it's too late. We got one more comment coming in here from Renee. Renee, thank you for watching, my friend. Renee says, what a great way to finish my Christmas day, hearing your wonderful, raw story. Thank you for the comment, Renee.
Thank you.
And Jackie, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. We will let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You as well.
Take care.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.